The first thing the President has to understand is the nature of the crisis. Is this for the short term, or is this a crisis where we can't actually see the end of the crisis? We can't see the bottom to the crisis. The second key to allow for the reserves to be used is useful only where you cannot see the end of the crisis and you can't see the bottom to the crisis. But secondly, the money has to be spent wisely. And that means not just helping people to survive, which is of course very important, our firms, our SMEs and Singaporeans to survive the storm, but to build strengths in a crisis so that we emerge even stronger. That's critical to the wise use of our reserves in a crisis. But thirdly, it's got to be fair. If we're using our reserves in a crisis, if we're going to spend monies on Singaporeans and firms, it's got to be distributed fairly. So if we're saving jobs, we've got to make sure we help lower-income Singaporeans, middle-income Singaporeans, build up strengths for the recovery, build up new skills, new capabilities for the recovery. Don't just favor the big firms, don't just favor those who already have it good. Be fair.
Thank you, Mr. Tharman. Mr. Tan, you are next, and your time starts now.
The two key factors. I have two factors. The first is this use of the reserve in the interest of the people? And the second factor I will consider is this a proper use of the reserves? For example, is it spent unwisely or is it spent wisely? For example, our biggest use of past reserves was during the COVID. A large sum of money was set aside, and there was some part of the money that went into banks that were making huge profits, and they were given subsidy by the government. I consider that to be not suitable use of the reserves, and I don't want to say that this is looking back at the benefit of hindsight. I think the President should have the ability to understand what is proper use and what is the wrong use of the reserve. So I will certainly want to examine carefully, is this good for the people and is this the proper use of the reserves? Thank you.